Some betrayals don't come from outsiders. They come from the people who sit with you at the same table, the people who share your blood, the people who smile at you in daylight, and mock the love you chose in the dark. She married a man they called the Poor One. They laughed at his shoes, his quiet voice, his humble dreams. They said he wasn't good enough, that she could do better, that she was throwing her life away. But life has a strange way of revealing truth. Because the same man they mocked, the same man they pushed aside, the same man they warned her to leave, became the investor their entire family needed for survival. Before we begin this emotional journey of betrayal, growth, truth, and unexpected grace, please like, comment, share, and subscribe, so more people can feel the power of this story. Rain pressed softly against the wide glass windows of the dining room as Mira sat silently at the table, her hands folded neatly on her lap. She had grown used to the way her family stared at her husband, Jero, as though he were an unwelcome guest who had wandered into their world by mistake. Her mother, Lisa, tilted her chin in that familiar judgmental way and said, "Mira, you could have chosen someone who brings pride to this family. Look around. Everyone here is progressing. But you? You chose that." Her finger pointed at Jero like he was an object, not a man. Jero lifted his eyes slowly, calm as always. "Good evening, Mama Lisa," he said with a gentle smile. But she looked away, refusing even the courtesy of a greeting. Mira felt her throat tighten. "Mama, can you stop?" she whispered. "Jero is my husband." Her older brother, Run, snorted loudly. "Husband? More like a charity project. Tell me, Jero, how much is in your account today?" Mira slammed her palm lightly on the table. "Run, stop it." Run leaned back, smirking. If he wants to sit at this table, he should be able to answer simple questions. Jero kept his voice low. "I'm not here to prove myself to anyone," he said. "I'm here because Mira invited me." Silence fell over the room, thick and hostile. The tension at the table thickened until even the clink of spoons felt like an insult. Mira looked from face to face, hoping anyone, would show a fragment of kindness, but all she saw were smug smiles and raised brows. Her sister, Rima, leaned forward with a false sweetness coating her voice. "Mira, you know we love you, right? We are only worried because marriage should elevate a woman, not drag her down." Myra's jaw tightened. "Jero does not drag me down," she said firmly. "He supports me, respects me, listens to me, things money can't buy." Rima chuckled softly. "Yes, but money can buy the kind of life you used to dream about." Jero lifted his gaze, calm and unshaken. "Rima," he said gently, "dreams don't always start loud. Some grow in silence." Rima scoffed. "That's a poetic excuse for being broke." Lisa tapped her spoon against her plate. "Enough. Mira, I hope you're prepared for the consequences of choosing struggle over stability." Rin brought home a woman who works with the bank. "Rima is dating a man who owns 3 stores. But you," she paused, shaking her head slowly. "You chose someone with nothing." Mira inhaled sharply, fighting tears. "Mama, stop saying that. Jero has dreams, and he's working hard every day." Rin cut in mockingly. "Dreams don't pay bills." Jero finally leaned forward, his voice still quiet. "Run. Your confidence in money is admirable. But wealth is not always what it looks like from the outside." Run rolled his eyes. "Spare me the philosophy. If you can't show it, you don't have it." Mira reached under the table and squeezed Jero's hand. He squeezed back, steady as a rock. Lisa pushed her chair back. "Dinner is over," she announced sharply. "Mira, from now on, please come alone." Mira froze.
"What?"
Lisa's voice turned cold. "Do not bring him here again." Mira felt the words slice through her chest like a blade. "Mama, you can't mean that," she whispered, her voice trembling. Lisa adjusted her wrapper as though Myra's pain were a small inconvenience. "I mean every word. A wife should marry someone who elevates her, not someone you have to defend at every gathering." Jero stood slowly, his chair scraping softly against the tiled floor. Mira, he said quietly, let's go. Ren lifted his glass triumphantly. Yes, please do. Some of us want to eat without the air of poverty clouding the room. Myra's eyes burned. She grabbed her bag and followed Jero to the door, but turned one final time. One day, she said, voice thick with hurt, you will realize you judged the wrong man. Rima laughed. We're only judging the obvious. Outside, the wind kissed her wet cheeks as she stepped into the night. Jero walked beside her without a word. After a few seconds, he finally spoke. Mira, I'm sorry. She shook her head quickly. Don't you ever apologize for who you are. They're wrong. Jero breathed in deeply, hiding the quiet storm in his chest. I'm going to prove something, not to them, but to you. And when the time comes, I want you to stand tall. Mira wiped her tears. I already do. Their tiny apartment welcomed them with a gentle hum of the ceiling fan and the soft glow of their single lamp. Mira sat on the bed, still shaken. I don't understand why they treat you that way, she whispered. Jero knelt in front of her, taking her hands. Because they see where I am, not where I'm going. She lifted her eyes, searching his face. Jero, what are you not telling me? He hesitated for the first time that night. Mira, I didn't want to pressure you with my plans. I've been working silently with a group of entrepreneurs. We're building something, a company that invests in small businesses. It's slow but promising. Mira blinked, stunned. Why didn't you tell me? He smiled gently. Because I wanted you to see results before hearing promises. She exhaled, relief washing through her. Jero, I believe in you, even before any result. He touched her cheek lightly. And that's why I can't fail. That night, he worked late at the small dining table, typing financial proposals while Mira watched him quietly. She saw something her family refused to notice, his discipline, his vision, his silent fire. In the weeks that followed, small doors began opening. Investors called back. Meetings were scheduled. Mira cheered him on, never missing a step. But her family never checked on her. Not once. 3 months later, Myra's phone buzzed with a message from Ren. Come home. Family meeting. Urgent. Her stomach tightened. She hadn't heard from them since the dinner incident. She showed Jero the message. Do you want to go? He asked softly. I'll go with you if you want. Mira swallowed. Yes, I want you to come. When they arrived at the family house, the atmosphere was different. Tense, restless, anxious. Rima paced back and forth with her phone glued to her ear. Lisa sat with her arms folded tightly, her face pale. Ren's eyes darted nervously around the room. Mira stepped inside slowly. What happened? Ren looked up sharply. Our family store is collapsing, he said in one breath. Sales have dropped, debts have piled, suppliers want to pull out. Everything is crashing. Mira blinked. Why? What went wrong? Rima threw her hands up. We don't know. We tried everything. Mama used her savings. Ren sold some land. Nothing worked. Lisa stared at Mira, her pride crumbling. We need an investor, she said stiffly. Someone to revive the business before we lose everything. Mira exchanged a glance with Jero. He remained silent, his expression unreadable. Ren sighed heavily. We were hoping you knew someone. Jero stepped forward calmly. What kind of investor are you looking for? Ren shot him a frustrated look. Not someone like you. This requires real money. Mira stepped toward her brother. Run, answer the question. Ren huffed. We need someone who can put in at least 50 million. Mira froze. Rima added quickly, or someone who has access to people with that kind of capital. Lisa's eyes flicked toward Jero for a quick second before darting away. Jero folded his hands behind him. What if the person who can help is standing right here? The room fell silent. Rima blinked aggressively. Standing where? Jero met her eyes. Right here. Ren burst into laughter. Please, don't bring jokes into this. We are talking about real investment. Jero didn't move. I'm serious. Mira watched her family struggle to breathe. Rima stepped closer. You have 50 million? He nodded. More. Lisa's hand trembled as she clutched the arm of her chair. Jero, how? Jero's voice was steady. The company I told Mira about, it grew faster than expected. We closed major deals. I am now one of the primary investors. Their faces collapsed in disbelief. Bryn whispered, Impossible. Jero spoke again, calm but firm. I didn't tell you, because it was none of your business. And I didn't seek validation from people who insulted me before knowing my worth. Rima swallowed hard. So, you can help us? Mira watched them skeptically as they suddenly softened like melted butter. Lisa forced a broken smile. Jero, son, you know families quarrel sometimes. Mira cut in sharply. Mama, please don't start acting like you didn't humiliate him. Lisa's face stiffened, but she continued. We were wrong, okay? We were blinded. Bryn stepped forward, shoulders slumped. We're desperate, Mira. If we lose that store, everything our father worked for will disappear. For the first time, Myra's heart softened slightly. She looked at Jero. What do you think? Jero nodded once. I'll help, but not the way you expect. Bryn frowned. What do you mean? Jero reached into his pocket and brought out a folder of documents. If I invest, I take majority ownership of the business. I control operations. I make decisions. The room erupted. Rima gasped. Bryn shouted. Lisa clutched her chest dramatically. But Jero didn't flinch. Bryn paced the room angrily. Control? Of our family store? Never. Jero remained calm. Then find another investor. One who'll give you millions with no conditions. Silence swallowed the room. Rima bit her lip, shaking. Bryn, we don't have time to look for someone else. Lisa's voice cracked with desperation. Jero, is there no other option? He shook his head slowly. No. Because the business is already dying. It needs leadership, structure, and discipline, not emotion. Bryn groaned, rubbing his face with both hands. Mira stepped closer to Jero. If you take over, what happens to them? Jero looked at her gently. They still receive salaries. They still remain part of the store. But they won't make decisions that harm the company. Rima clenched her jaw. So we become employees? Jero didn't answer. His silence was the answer. Lisa trembled with the weight of reality. We don't have a choice, she whispered. Bryn slammed a chair. No. I refuse to hand over my father's legacy. Mira faced him squarely. Bryn, your father built it to survive. You're the one who ran it into the ground. Bryn's shoulders dropped helplessly. They debated for almost an hour. Accusations. Tears. Pride. Fear. Mira stayed beside Jero the whole time, watching the family that once mocked him fall apart under the truth. Finally, Lisa sighed heavily. Jero, we agree. Bryn looked away, ashamed and angry. Rima muttered under her breath, but signed the paper with a trembling hand. As Jero collected the documents, Bryn whispered, Don't think we're thanking you. Jero replied calmly, I didn't ask for your thanks. I asked for your accountability. Mira exhaled deeply, feeling a strange mixture of pain and victory. Lisa looked at her daughter, with a tear slipping down her cheek. Mira, please forgive us. Mira swallowed hard. Mama, forgiveness doesn't erase what happened. But I will not hold hatred. Rima sniffed loudly. So, when do we start working under you? Jero turned to her, expression unreadable. You start tomorrow. Bryn groaned. Mira gently touched Jero's arm. Are you sure you want to do this? Jero smiled faintly. Someone has to save them. And someone has to show them what real leadership looks like. Mira nodded slowly. She was beginning to see the man her family underestimated. Steady, strong, visionary. The next morning, Jero arrived at the store with a quiet authority that made every worker pause. Mira stood beside him as he inspected inventory, checked financial records, and met with staff. Bryn hovered awkwardly in the background. Rima followed behind, pretending to be busy. Jero gathered everyone. From today, things will change. This store will become profitable again. But it means discipline. Mira watched Jero transform. He was gentle with her, but firm with everyone else. He assigned new roles, implemented new structures, and handled suppliers personally. Workers whispered, "Madam Myra's husband Sabi work oh." Ren looked irritated. Rima looked confused. But Mira looked proud. Over the next weeks, sales slowly climbed. Customers returned. New deals were signed. Jero worked day and night, and the store began to rise from its ashes. One afternoon, as Mira and Jero were reviewing numbers, Lisa walked in quietly. She folded her hands and said, "Jero, thank you." It was the first genuine sentence she had spoken to him in years. Mira watched, stunned. Jero only nodded. Lisa stood there with humility Mira had never witnessed in her life. "Jero," she continued softly, "I was wrong about you." Jero lifted his gaze. "It's not about being wrong or right," he said.
Gently.
"It's about understanding people beyond what they wear or own." Lisa's lips trembled. "I judged you harshly. We all did." Mira watched her husband place the file aside. "Mrs. Lisa," he said calmly, "if this store survives, it won't be because of the money I invested. It will be because the people working here changed." Rima approached slowly, her voice small for the first time. "Jero, can you teach us?" He nodded once. "If you're willing to learn." Rin leaned against the wall, arms folded. "I'll learn, but just know I still don't like this arrangement." Jero smiled slightly. "You don't have to like it. You just have to work." Mira laughed under her breath. For the first time, her family seemed human, cracked open, humbled, teachable. Weeks turned into months, and the store began shifting from chaos to order. Jero introduced management software, trained staff properly, and taught Ren how to manage finances without ego. Rima learned customer relations and discovered she had a hidden talent for marketing. Even Lisa showed up every morning, sweeping the veranda and greeting customers. Mira watched in awe as the family, who once despised her husband, slowly grew to respect him. One afternoon, a loyal customer said, "Madam Mira, your husband Don changed this place oh. Everything neat, organized, professional." Mira felt her chest fill with warmth. But not everyone was fully at peace. Ren struggled with the idea of not being in charge. He often pulled Mira aside. "Your husband is too strict," he grumbled. Mira always replied, "He's strict because he cares." But Ren would roll his eyes. Still, he followed instructions. Even stubbornness has limits when survival is at stake. One evening, after the store closed, Mira and Jero walked home hand in hand. The streetlights glowed softly above them. "You've changed everything," Mira whispered. Jero shook his head.
"No, Mira."
"You changed everything."
She paused.
"Me?" He nodded. "If you hadn't believed in me, I wouldn't have had the courage to build anything. You supported me when everyone else laughed." Mira felt tears build in her eyes. "You deserved to be believed in." He kissed her forehead gently. "And now they're learning that too." Mira leaned into him. She felt lighter, like the universe was finally correcting the wrongs done to him. When they reached home, Jero sat at their small desk, reviewing the store's growth charts. Mira placed a hand on his shoulder. "I'm proud of you." He smiled. "We're doing this together." For the first time in a long while, Mira slept peacefully. But peace doesn't last forever. One morning, Rin burst into the store with panic written all over his face. "We have a problem," he shouted. Jero looked up calmly. "What is it?" Rin threw a file onto the counter. "A competitor is trying to buy the land behind us. If they build a megastore, we're dead." Rima gasped. Lisa froze. Mira stepped forward. "Who is the buyer?" Ren's voice shook. "A man named Bruno. He's offering double the usual price." Jero opened the file and reviewed the documents quietly. "This move is strategic," he said. "If Bruno buys that land, he will take 80% of our customer flow." Rima panicked. "Jero, do something." Mira touched Jero's arm. "Can we stop it?" He closed the folder slowly.
"Yes."
"But it requires something none of you have used before." Ren frowned. "What?" Jero met his eyes. "Patience." Jero spent the next few days researching, making calls, and analyzing the land market. Run grew restless. We're going to lose everything, he whined. Jero didn't lift his head. Panicking won't save you. Mira watched him work tirelessly, calm as always. On the third day, Jero finally stood. Let's go, he said. Go where? Lisa asked. To meet the landowner. Ren's eyes widened. We're going to negotiate? No, Jero replied. We're going to offer something Bruno didn't. They arrived at the landowner's home, a thick-set man with stern eyes. He eyed them cautiously. Are you here to outbid Bruno? Jero shook his head.
No.
We're here to propose a partnership. The man raised a brow. Partnership? Mira held her breath as Jero explained his idea. Instead of buying the land, the landowner would lease it to their store at a lower rate, and in return, they would convert it into a bustling mini-market that would generate income for both sides. The man listened, intrigued. Ren stared in shock. Rima blinked. Lisa whispered, This man is full of surprises. After a long silence, the landowner nodded. I like your plan. Back at the store, the family erupted with excitement. Jero, you're a genius. Rima screamed. Even Ren hugged him, awkwardly. Mira laughed. I told you all. Within weeks, construction began. The store expanded, new stalls were introduced, and small business owners rented spaces enthusiastically. Customers poured in every day. The store grew bigger, louder, and more profitable. One afternoon, Ren walked up to Jero and cleared his throat. I still don't like you being the boss, he muttered, but thank you. Jero smiled softly. You don't have to like me, but we must work together. Ren nodded reluctantly. Rima, meanwhile, bragged to everyone. It was our investor who changed this whole area. Lisa, proud but humbled, started referring to Jero as my son-in-law wherever she went. Mira watched the transformation with mixed emotions. The family who once mocked her husband now looked up to him. The world truly had seasons. But the biggest change came the day the bank manager visited the store. He inspected their books, walked around the bustling business, then pulled Lisa aside. Your store qualifies for expansion funding, he announced. Lisa burst into tears of relief. After all these years, we can grow? The manager nodded.
Yes.
But we require the signature of the majority owner. Rima and Ren turned to Jero immediately. Jero, please sign for us. He took the pen, paused, and turned to Mira. Should I? Mira nodded softly. They've worked hard. Let them grow. Jero signed. Lisa wiped her tears, whispering, Thank you. But what happened next stunned everyone. The bank manager shook Jero's hand. Sir, your investment profile is impressive. Would you be interested in leading a community development program? Myra's heart swelled with pride. Run and Rima stared at him with wide eyes. Mira whispered, You see? This is who he is. Jero squeezed her hand. And this is who you helped me become. The program launched months later, and Jero became a well-respected figure in the community. Newspapers interviewed him. Entrepreneurs sought his advice. Even government officials invited him to speak at seminars. Myra's family watched in awe as the poor man they once mocked became one of the strongest voices in local business growth. One evening, while Mira helped her mother close the store, Lisa held her daughter's hands. Mira, she whispered, I owe you the biggest apology a mother can give. Mira blinked. Mama, Lisa shook her head.
No. Let me say it.
I treated your husband like trash. I treated you like a woman making a mistake. But your choice saved us. Tears filled Myra's eyes. Lisa pulled her closer. You saw what we couldn't see. Mira whispered. Mama, I'm glad you see him now. Lisa nodded. I don't just see him. I respect him. Meanwhile, Ren struggled with guilt. He approached Jero one morning while he reviewed financial records. Can I talk to you? He asked quietly. Jero looked up. Yes. Ren sat down, his voice low. I was horrible to you. I insulted you, mocked you even when you were helping us. I don't know why. Jero closed the file. Because you saw me as competition. Ren swallowed.
Yes.
And because I thought I was better. Jero folded his arms. Ren, the day you stop comparing yourself to others is the day you'll truly grow. Ren's eyes dropped. Can you forgive me? Jero nodded once. I already did. Ren exhaled, shoulders relaxing for the first time. Thank you, brother. Jero smiled faintly. We're family now. Rima also went through a transformation of her own. She became one of the best marketers in the region, using social media to boost sales and attract customers. One afternoon, she approached Mira shyly. Mira, can I ask you something? Mira smiled. Anything. Rima hesitated. How did you know he wasn't what we thought? Mira sighed softly. Because I saw his heart before his pocket. Because he spoke with kindness. And because he had vision, something you can't see with your eyes. Rima nodded slowly. I'm learning that. Mira hugged her gently. You're growing. Rima whispered. He made me believe I could be useful. No one ever did before. Mira felt warmth bloom in her chest. But despite the peace returning, Jero carried one silent fear. One night, Mira found him sitting alone on their balcony, staring into the distance. Talk to me, she said softly. He hesitated. Mira, I'm afraid of failing you. She sat beside him, laying her head on his shoulder. Jero, failure isn't what defines us. Character is. He exhaled deeply. Your family believes in me now. The community trusts me. The store is growing. But sometimes I wonder, what if I disappoint them? Mira held his hand tightly. Jero, you built everything yourself. You rose from nothing. Even if you fall, you'll rise again. He looked at her with soft eyes. Do you really think so? She smiled gently. I don't think so. I know so. Jero kissed her forehead. Thank you, Mira, for loving me even when I had nothing. She whispered. You were never nothing. The following month, Jero received an award for community investment. Mira and her family attended the ceremony. Cameras flashed, reporters crowded him, and his name echoed through the hall. Lisa cried proudly. Ren clapped until his palms hurt. Rima recorded every moment for social media. As Jero stepped up to receive his award, he looked out at the crowd and locked eyes with Mira. This is for you, he mouthed. Later, during his speech, he said, behind every strong man is a woman who believed before the world believed. Mira felt tears roll down her cheeks. Lisa held her daughter's hand. He loves you deeply, she whispered. Mira smiled through her tears. I know. After the award ceremony, people approached Jero with new business proposals. Ren whispered to Mira, your husband is a star. Rima nodded. He's the kind of man we used to pray for you to marry. Mira laughed softly. And you nearly chased him away. Rima looked embarrassed. We were blind. Mira smiled. Not anymore. Jero joined them. Ready to go home? He asked Mira. She nodded. As they walked out of the hall, Lisa called out, Jero, come and take a picture with us. For the first time, Jero stood beside them with ease. The camera clicked, capturing a moment Mira would never forget, a family once divided now united by truth. But life tested them one more time. A fire broke out at the back of the store one late evening. Workers screamed. Smoke filled the air. Mira grabbed her phone. Jero. The store. He rushed out with Run, Rima, and several staff members. They fought the fire with buckets and extinguishers until firefighters arrived. Hours later, the flames died. Run fell to his knees, crying. Our work, everything. Rima sobbed beside him. Lisa couldn't even stand. Mira held her close. Jero surveyed the damage silently, his mind already moving. Run wiped his tears. Jero, this is the end. We can't rebuild this. Jero placed a firm hand on Ren's shoulder. Stand up. Ren shook his head. What's the point? Stand. Jero repeated. Ren obeyed slowly. Jero met his eyes. This is not the end. It's the beginning. The next morning, Jero called an emergency meeting. The store was half burnt, the shelves ruined, the walls dark with soot. Yet Jero stood before them like a man who didn't understand defeat. "We rebuild," he said simply. Grin scoffed. "With what money?" Jero looked at him. "With faith, with work, and with the community we've helped." Within hours, business owners, customers, and neighbors began arriving. Some carried cash. Some brought building materials. Some brought food for workers. "Your husband helped all of us," one man said. "Now it's our turn." Mira cried quietly as she watched people gather. Even the landowner arrived with laborers. "Jero," he said, "we rise together." Ren stood speechless. Rima placed a hand on her heart. Lisa sobbed uncontrollably. Jero looked at Mira. "This is real wealth." For weeks, they rebuilt the store brick by brick. Run worked harder than ever before. Rima stayed up designing ads for the reopening. Mira cooked for volunteers. Jero coordinated construction with the precision of a leader born for pressure. When the new store finally opened, it was bigger, brighter, and stronger than before. Customers flooded in. Music played. Children danced. Workers celebrated. Lisa hugged Jero tightly. "Thank you, my son," Rima said proudly. "You are the best thing that ever happened to this family." Ren nodded. "You saved us twice." Mira held Jero's hand and whispered, "You did it." He smiled. "We did it." The store became the heartbeat of the community, a symbol of resilience, unity, and unexpected grace. Months later, Myra's family organized a dinner to honor Jero. This time, the table was filled with gratitude instead of judgment. Ren stood up to give a toast. "To the man we once looked down on, the man we labeled poor, the man who proved us wrong in every way, Jero, thank you for saving our family." Everyone clapped. Rima added, "And thank you for teaching us humility." Lisa's eyes glistened with emotion. "Jero," she whispered, "you turned my children into better people, and you taught me to see beyond appearances." Jero bowed his head respectfully. Mira squeezed his palm under the table. "I'm proud of you," she whispered. He smiled at her, eyes warm. "And I'm thankful for you." Later that night, as everyone prepared dessert, Mira pulled her husband aside. "Do you realize what you've done?" she whispered. He shrugged softly. "I just helped where I could." She shook her head. "No, Jero. You transformed a family. You healed wounds. You changed destinies." He brushed a strand of hair behind her ear. "Mira, your love gave me courage. When your family humiliated me, I wanted to run. But you held my hand. When the store collapsed, you believed. When the fire happened, you trusted. Everything I am now is because you stood by me." Myra's heart tightened with emotion. "And everything I am is because you loved me through their insults." He kissed her gently. "We're a team." When they returned to the dinner table, Lisa made an unexpected announcement. "I've decided to sign the store fully over to Jero," she said. Run and Rima gasped. Mira covered her mouth. Jero froze. "Mama, why?" Lisa's voice shook. "Because a legacy belongs to the one who preserves it, not the one who inherits it." Run lowered his head. Rima touched her mother's arm. "Mama, are you sure?" Lisa nodded.
"Yes."
"And one day, when Mira and Jero have children, the store will continue through them." Mira burst into tears. Jero approached Lisa slowly and knelt. "Mama, thank you." Lisa placed her hand on his head.
"No."
"Thank you for saving us from ourselves." That night, after the family celebration ended, Mira and Jero walked home under the stars. The air was cool, and the world felt softer. Mira leaned on his shoulder. "Do you remember the first day they insulted you?" He nodded. "I do." She smiled. "Look at us now." Jero exhaled deeply, his heart full. "Mira, I never wanted to prove your family wrong. I only wanted to build a life worthy of you." She touched his cheek gently. "You built more than a life. You built a legacy." Jero held her close, whispering, "And I'll keep building as long as I have you by my side." Mira smiled up at him. "You will always have me." As they walked into their home, the same little apartment where their journey began, Mira realized something powerful. Love had not only survived insults, it had turned the poor man they mocked into the foundation of their family's future. And for the first time, she knew without doubt, she had married the right man. And please don't forget to tap the bell so every new folktale reaches you first. Tell us in the comments what you think about the story. And tell us where you're watching from. Please like, comment, subscribe, and share this beautiful story with friends, family, and loved ones so they too can remember.